Good morning everyone, it's Rachel here with Roxy's Weekly Challenge, and I thought I would do just a little bit of Christmas embroidery. Here, now I know embroidery is not for everyone, so here I have drawn on with just a Stabilo felt tip pen. So you could do that, for example, if you're not going to embroider, like I'm thinking about people like Gail, who has done embroidery and is quite capable of doing it, but she did, when she was doing the tags, she did get a tendinitis sort of thing happening. So I wanted to give variations for people who don't want to embroider. You can draw onto your fabric and still have the nice fabric effect here. So I'm obviously not going to show you all of it because it will take quite a while to do this. So I'll do a bit of it. So there we go, look at that. And you can change your colors, and or you could draw it on like that and then just do a bit of embroidery. In fact, I think that's a really good idea. I think for my bird here, I'm going to draw around with my pen and then just add details to the little eye. I'll draw around the wing and there, and then the rest I'll embroider. Here I'll do the edge of the ornaments. I might even draw in these. So I'm going to do a mix of drawing and embroidery. So that will go faster. Here we'll do this. We might even draw the star. I don't like drawing stars, they're always wonky. This one I'll go around the trees. This one I'll do these bits, and then I'll go like this. So we're only going to be doing minimal embroidery. How about that? Just to help along those who don't enjoy embroidery or don't want to do it, you can draw it all in otherwise, but you get that nice fabric texture. This I wanted to, I might embroider that, and here I'll just do that, and I'm going to put a little star on there. I think I'll embroider that, not sure. Oh, here we can do the border of this one as well. And then we'll see over the next week how I will use them. I go around these as well. If I don't like it, I can always embroider over the top of it. Okay, so let's get cracking. Hasn't gone through, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my red. And to fill in this, I'm going to do satin stitch. Now, if you don't know how to do the stitches, we've completed our samplers. So satin stitch was in the second video, episode 7. I'm not sure if it was episode 7 part 1 or part 2. I think part 1 of our Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, if you want to go and see how to do that, but I'll show you quickly here. So what I think I'll do is I'll show you how I'm going to do each thing. So I'll give you an example, and then I'm going to go away and stitch it, and then I will come back at the end and show you it all completed, because otherwise, you know how long this, all of you who watch my sewing videos know how long it all takes. It takes a really long time. So with satin stitch, you're just putting your stitches parallel to one another. I've left a space there, so you just come back and fill it in. Now when I'm starting on a circle, Mum has always taught me to start in the center and work your way out, but you don't have to, but I find it's a little bit better for me if I do that. Just hopefully my light's good. because before I used to have my light right at the edge of the table, and I was working to, you know, all on the right hand side of my table, but now I can't do that because of the setup with the so you could choose to cover your black line or not, but I'm actually going to leave the outline of the black drawn line. Obviously you're not going to use a Stabilo felt tip pen for something you're going to wash, but I'm going to be gluing these into my Christmas journal. And I'm just embroidering on a piece of antique hemp that my mother-in-law gave me this weekend, that her sister, I don't know, she potters around and she finds things, and she gave it to me. It's not too thick, so it's quite nice to stitch through. So that's one berry done. I'll do one berry and then I'll move on to the sprigs to show you how I'm going to do those. And I think I'm going to be using really all stitches that anyone who's done the samplers, you've learned how to do it. So you can see then how you can create designs with the stitches. You don't need someone else's pattern, you can just draw it on, unless you really feel like you can't draw, and then you know, good things that you can do is trace like a little detail from a colouring in book and that sort of thing too. Now I am going to basically just use threaded stranded threads or my perlé threads. I'm not going to use anything fancy for this, and I'm just choosing my green. Use that green. This is just a perlé cotton as well, and I'm going to have several needles threaded because I'm going to be going backwards and forwards using, you know, going back and using the same color, so I'm going to leave it. So here I'm going to do a tight feather stitch, I think. So you start off coming down at the top. Now you need to create the shape of the leaf. You need to sort of start narrow, work your way out, and then finish off narrow. So I'm doing my feather stitch, but it's a really tight one. I'm creating a Y. And I'm just going to do a little teeny tiny anchor there and come up kind of next to it. I need to anchor it on my line. I didn't do that before, but it doesn't matter. I can come out a little bit, tiny bit, you know, moving your way down, going a tiny bit wider, and then I'll start to taper it in again as I get towards the bottom. See that, how you create the shape? Now if you struggle doing it by eye, then you could draw your shape lightly and then follow that. I'm creating mine a bit organically. So now I'm going to start to make my stitches here a little bit shorter to start tapering in. Now I'll just put a couple more little stitches in there on one side just to finish it off. And I will do the same thing for the other one. Okay, so I'll end that one off and we're going to move on to the next. I think this is the fastest way to show you guys how I'm going to do my little bits of embroidery. I think if you combine a little bit of drawing and a little bit of embroidery, I think that's a fun effect as well. Okay, so the bird. The bird down the wing, I'm going to do, I'll show you, I'm going to do one daisy stitch at the top. Then I'm going to do my stem. It's going to be back stitch. So I'll come to the bottom of my stitch there, and I'm going to do back stitch all the way down the center. So you come forward to start off with, then go back, forward in a straightish line, and try and keep your stitches as even as you can. I don't, but I try. So there's my back stitch. I might bring it right to the bottom of the wing. Like that. And then I'm going to alternately on either side do lazy daisy stitches. Daisy stitches. Or lazy daisy stitches, I don't know. And you'll see it's very pretty. I like these type. I won't necessarily do them exactly even with each other on either side. So I will finish this one off just to show you this. So then at the end, I will put photographs so you can see. As they're my drawings, I might even scan these, because sometimes it's just nice to have them, you know, the printed version. So if you didn't want to draw and you wanted to do it all embroidery, you would outline in whatever color you want. I would probably mostly do back stitch. You could do whip things and all kinds of things like we've done in our sampler, but I'd probably just do back stitch to outline them. But I'm wanting to go a little bit faster. So I did record next week's video, thinking that was going to be my this week's video, but I actually changed my mind, which is not unusual. So here I'm going to do 3 red French knots. I'm going to wrap it twice, I think, maybe even once. No, twice. Make it a little bit bigger. So the wraps, well, you can wrap one time. You know, you can wrap 5 times if you want, but it depends on what size you want. I don't want it to be too bulky, because these can be cut out and glued to things. So I've done those. I'll show you those. Here I'm going to do one feather stitch, and then, or fly stitch I think it is, and then I'm just going to come down with back stitch, so I won't show you that. You can see that in our stitchery samplers. And in the description box of the videos are listed the stitches that we did. So just in case you haven't seen it, you don't want to, you know, go through them all. So that's that. Okay, let's see what else. Here I'm going to fill it in with satin stitch like that, in probably green, or I don't know, maybe I'll even go into a blue. Here I'm just going to do 3 long stitches. Here I'm just going to do that back stitch. These will just be 3 single stitches and then 2 back stitches probably there. As I said, I'm not going to show it all. That'll just be 2 stitches that create a triangle, and I might put 1 stitch in the middle to fill it in. So now let's move on to this one. And where is it? I had bought... Here it is. I bought this gold thread. I think it's for crochet. I thought I'd give this thread a go. I bought it on Amazon. Glitter Uni. I think it's Italian. I don't know what the brand is. I've got to find where it starts. Oh, there it is. Which one am I pulling? There we go. Got it. Okay. So I thought I might try some of this as well. I might use my thicker needle. So I thought on the top of those ornaments, can I thread it? can't see my what is it called, my needle book. Should be up there, but it's not. Oh, it's over there, so I could thread it with that. I don't know if I can embroider with this or not. There we go. But I thought it was quite nice and thick. Now I think on my bird I'll do the satin stitch with this. Here I wanted to maybe do some, oh I can. I'm going to do some daisy stitches at the top. Oh yes, it does embroider. And I'll do the same. Sorry if I'm shaking you. Pulling it through the thing is a little bit tougher than expected. So I thought this one here I'm going to fill with French knots. And the other one I'm going to do rows of colours. I think I'll do all of my stars. I will fill in with, I'll do some sort of satin stitch and just fill them in with this gold thread, I think. Yeah, just 3 of those will do up there. I'll do the same on the other one. So it was just a daisy stitch. It's a little bit tough to pull through. You can use the thinner threads if you want to, but I feel like this one is a very nice effect because it's thick. So I'll do that. And then I just wanted to show you my star. I'm just going to go like this. Choose a direction and just fill it in as best I can because it's quite hard. They're quite hard to fill in the stars. So it's a kind of, it's going to be a type of satin stitch, but here where it narrows down I might need to slope it a little bit. Oh, that's all right. Just do a little stitch in there. And then I've got to put a few more stitches in over here. So I feel like if you slope it a little bit, you can fit in more longer stitches. It's a bit of a mess, but anyway. And that one I might just change direction. To me, it all just creates texture anyway, so it's not really a problem. I didn't draw a star on my Christmas trees over there. I need to do those as well. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do those stars. I'll do the same on those. Probably should have seen if I could get a silver too. I didn't think about that. Let me see here. Anything else? I'll fill in that one like that. Oh, this tree I'm going to do, I might choose a different green. I'm going to do a similar thing. No, I think I'll do a more open fly stitch. Now what's happened here? We've unthreaded all the way. Well, that's a bit long. Snip that off. Just grab another needle. See, I'm leaving them all threaded, so that way they're convenient for me. So let's repeat. Use your pen and do your outlines, so that way it's an easier task. And I think I'm going to do lazy daisy stitches actually, because I've drawn my line. So I think I'll go like this. I think I'll have one at the top as well. Yep, draw your outline. Have I twisted it? No, good. Draw your outline and then decide what you want to embroider. Or if you're not embroidering, you can use colours and colour it all in and not use any threads. Those are the options. You can do whole embroidery, like backstitching everything, the outlines and everything, or you can do what I'm doing, a combination of drawing on the fabric and embroidering, or you can do it all coloured in with whatever pens. Just test them out on a little piece of fabric to make sure they don't bleed too much, and then, or you could even, you know, paint it. But if it's really watery paint, it can bleed, so you'd have to do some little tests on the edge as well. You would, yeah, that would be the safest way. So that's how I'm going to do that one. I won't finish off this thread. I'll just put that, I'll leave it there attached. I won't unattach it. I could unattach it and then start again. That's what I'll do, because I want to show you the next thing. So we're not here till next year. Okay, I'm not going to be too worried about my knotting at the back because I will be gluing these down onto paper. So then this one here, I thought it could be fun just to sort of, you could just fill in with a few satin stitches in the center. And I'm just looking at my colors thinking I might move out of the greens. I could go into this sort of color. It'd be very pale, but I think that'd be pretty, this one. So let's do this one. I'm glad I decided to do this. So next week my video will say 50 or 51, but actually it's the last, I think it's the last one next week. Yes, it is the last one, I think. So so yeah, I will have started off by saying the wrong thing, but don't worry, then I say at the end of the video that I've decided to do something different, which is this. So some of them I only really need to put one stitch in. It will be very subtle if you only put one stitch in, or you could double your thread over too. If you did double thread, then you would get it instantly thicker. I'm just being mindful of staying inside my drawn line because I want to have the contour. So I'll do a few more just so you can see. So they nearly just fills it in. So if you're using a stranded thread and used 4 to 6 threads, depending on how big you did your little things, these little things here, these little loopy things, that one stitch will fill it in for you. This one will need 2 because it's a little bit of a bigger loop. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around and do all of them like that. And I think it's really pretty. It just adds a little bit of texture to your flat drawn thing, and anyone can do this. Anyone. This is easy. You just put in 1 stitch or 2 stitches next to each other if they're a little bit broader. So I'll just finish this one off and this bit here, and then I'll come back and finish it off camera. And then, as I said, you'll see photographs at the end of the video. Now I'm going to do the house red, I think, and it's just going to be back stitch. I'm looking at the house. That's just going to be back stitch. So, and then these little bits are going to be 2 stitches or 3 stitches next to each other, like what I'm doing in these little leaves. So that's fairly simple. I won't show that. I'm going to fill in the star with the gold. If you see something different in the photograph, then I changed my mind. You could use a hoop if you want to. I don't like using hoops. As I said, that satin stitch, that's going to be French knots. This tree. Let's do this tree. Choose a different green. Let's have a different green. So we've got all different colours happening. We're getting there. Good thing I never put my needles away because they're all sitting in my little pin cushion. This tree is really easy. This tree is just going to be, I didn't draw them very well, but they're just going to be parallel stitches. If I were to find that they were too, see, I didn't draw it very well. I'm doing it now. I can iron over that, and this, what you can see here, will disappear. I don't want it to go too wide, do I? So just going to be careful. Very simple, very, very simple stuff here. Nothing complex. And super fun. I tell you what, it's relaxing because it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's really, I'm really finding it a lot of fun. And then that's the last stitch there. So you want to create your triangle shape, which I didn't do when I was drawing it. And that one's done. Now what I could do, if I found these a bit, they're a bit long, like you don't normally do such long stitches in thing. I'm just going to put a little stitch in the center like that and anchor it down. I'm going to do it on all of them. I'm just going to anchor it down. If you were to backstitch, you could backstitch over them. You could backstitch the trunk of the tree and do your backstitch that goes over your long ones. So do your long ones first. But I want to see my drawn line because that's the look I'm going for. Oops, I'm about to unthread here. So that's that. Now, I'm just thinking, I might as well just finish that one off. This little tree that I just drew, I'm just going to colour that in, the star, and that's all that's going to happen on that one. Very excited about this. Oh, and I'll warn you, next week's video, I was figuring out my idea as I was doing the video, so you're probably thinking, what is she doing? Because I was thinking, I even stopped my video thinking, what am I doing? That's that little tree, very simple. You could go ahead and put little French knots on the end of each branch in red or something, and just like their little berries sitting on the edge of the branch. And let's see, now I didn't draw that, I need to draw that. So that's just going to have gold. This one I might just do some little French knots in there, or little loopy bits. Not sure with what colour. This one I'm going to, will I do green? One I'll do green. I'll take this darker green. Where's the needle there? And I was going to use stranded cottons as well, but I've just ended up using the perlé because it's just easier. This one I'm going to do, and I've got to draw my star on, so remember that. I'm just going to put little stitches parallel to one another. I didn't just rows of them. I didn't draw them on because then they'll be hard to cover up. So basically just sort of coming across and doing your little stitches parallel, just rows of them, and it will take a while to do, but I think it'll be really pretty. So a bit like that, but those were a bit more random, those ones. You could fill it with seed stitch as well. So I'll just do a couple of rows just to show you that. I need to draw my stars on. See, I come, instead of going down over there for my next stitch, I come out next to it because it does save on your thread a lot. You don't end up changing. It's more than saving on thread. It's more for me about saving on time the time to stop and rethread. I find it faster just to have my thread, except when you get knots, last as long as possible. So you can see how that one's going to go. And they're not even, they're not all exactly the same. Turn your piece around if it's easier when you're coming back the other way. You could actually go down vertically and do rows of running stitch down that way. You could do rows of runner stitch horizontal if you wanted to. I'm not stitching on any beads or sequins or anything like that because these are going to go, I'm making these to go in journals. Although it'd be nice to do these and put them on Christmas cards or tags as well, which I thought would be really cool. I'm going to put a stitch there, but I might put a little stitch there as well. And then I don't think I really need to show you anything else. I think I've described everything that I'm going to do. This is going to have, what did I say that one's going to have? French knots? Or, yeah, French knots, I think. I must say I do like the combination of the drawing and the stitching. So you can get the idea. So I'll pause that. So there you go. So that's what I'm working on. So let's just recap. Back stitch down here, 1 feather stitch. That's going to have satin stitch. That'll just be a back stitch and 1, and then 3 little stitches there. Satin stitch, another one of those. I might even change color. These are going to be all French knots, and then this is just rows and rows of satin stitch. I'm going to do another gold bow up there. That one's pretty much done. This one I'm just doing back stitch for the tree, and I've got to finish off that and that. Here I've got to finish colouring in. Here I'm going to put a few French knots in between, I think, and at the end as well. This I just have to finish that. I'm going to do the gold on this one, and these are going to be French knots, and they both need a little star on top as well. We'll do that now. I don't like drawing stars. They are always wonky. A little one there. Okay, so there we go. I will put photographs at the end because I don't know how long it'll take me to do it all, and so I'll just photograph it. I won't say that I'm going to come back on live. So I hope you enjoyed that and have fun doing that. And as I said, if you don't want to embroider, you can use pens and colour it in. Or you can do minimal embroidery like this one. Or like this one where you just put 2 stitches next to each other to colour it in, sort of thing. Okay, so it's very, very simple. So I hope you enjoyed that and enjoy the photographs, and I will see you again soon. Bye.